Go Bears, baby! Alright. Maybe I'll take off the hat.
Yeah, hat's not doing it for you.
No.
I'm wearing a hat.
Oh, Grandpa. Oh, the old winter hat here.
Yeah.
Alright, everybody. We're going to talk about secondary suites today. This is Phil Williams. He's my energy audit guy.
Phil Williamson.
Williamson. Don't forget the son. Yeah, Phil's been like a great help to me. He's really like, so I bought this house, McNair, and to dig out the basement like everybody knows. Consulted Phil because it was a question, what was it, between duplex and secondary units?
Yeah, exactly.
So what's the difference?
So basically, like, between a duplex and a secondary suite, it's really just a zoning term. So it's the way the city looks at it. So basically, with secondary suites, the province put in a legislation that forces municipalities to allow secondary suites regardless of zoning requirements.
So it's easier to get a secondary suite done than, because of the zoning, right?
Correct,
so,
yeah.
So this is zoned R2-2.
Yeah.
If it was zoned anything else, would secondary suite still apply?
Correct, yeah. So basically, in any residential zone, so it can be a detached, semi-detached, or a row house, you can do a secondary suite.
Wow.
So, and then with a conventional duplex, you also have to go through a whole site plan approval process. You have to show that even if it's existing house, you have to have certain setback requirements. You have to
From
have
the lot, like from the sides and
sides, front, back, lot coverage ratios. So the building has to be a certain size. If it's an older building, it might not meet those requirements, right?
Yeah.
And
You can get variances for that though, right? Like setback variances.
You can, yeah. So basically,
So
if your
variances are what again? So variances are just because
so minor variance is if you just don't comply with the zoning. So that's if let's say your house is a little too close to the lot line, doesn't comply with the current zoning, then you'd have to apply for a minor variance.
Okay.
But there's a lot more hoops you would have to jump through.
Not that easy.
Exactly. And then parking, you have to allocate parking spots if it's a duplex. The city can charge you development charges, which can be in London, and I'm not 100% sure if they'd actually charge it, but it's $17,000 for every unit that you add.
Wow.
So with secondary suites, they're not.
You gotta get a license regardless, I guess. Right?
You do, yeah. Rental license, you have to license it regardless. But yeah, with secondary suites, it's just much more basic. Essentially, the whole idea is to make it easier to add units, so you don't have to go through any of the approval process that you do with the duplex. You just have to kind of meet some basic requirements.
Yeah, with like access egress. So access egress is what you can get in and out.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to be certain window sizes. I mean,
so you have to have a method, one means of egress on every floor area that has bedrooms. So you either need a door leading directly to the exterior, or you need an egress window.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then as far as like zoning, so if you were just looking at a place, you have to make sure that the sewer, that was one thing you had here, the sewer has to exit below the floor level. So the sewer, if you're looking at the main drain line, has to go right through the floor.
Yeah, we'll get down here, get low. So if it comes out of the wall, like so here we had, we took it out, we replaced it, went underground like Phil is saying, so it's gravity fed, but it was eventually, the sewage line was coming out of the wall, which is, you have to get forced. Let's make that right again. You had to get like a hydraulic force pump to pump it out, but you can't have somebody live in a basement with that.
Correct.
They wanted gravity fed, so I wouldn't have met secondary suite requirements or have a livable space down here.
Yeah, and in the most common situation you'll see that is if there's a septic system. So if there's a septic system, a lot of times then it exits the building like halfway up the wall, or in an odd case like yours. So you have that
very
situation.
odd case.
So yeah, so your sewer has to be gravity fed. You can't do them in floodplains, so there's certain areas in London that you just couldn't do it. In a basement, you can't put a basement apartment in a house if it's in a floodplain. And then the other thing with secondary suites in London is the suite can't be over 40% of the overall floor area.
Floor, yeah.
So you have to get a little bit creative sometimes. Like this house is a 1-floor bungalow. So basically you're just gonna have to kill some space with a larger like utility room or something like that.
Yeah, he just Spotify. If you want any more information, Phil's $1,000 an hour. No, he's a really good guy. He's for energy audits. I use him for So when I buy houses, I buy and flip houses, or depending on what I'm going to do with it, I always call Phil in, not just for his experience, and because you're a real estate investor yourself.
I am, yeah.
He converts homes into single family homes into duplexes.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm on my fourth conversion project.
Wow.
So, yeah. So I've done quite a few of these. I've been through the hoops with it, but
Yeah, he knows his stuff, and on top of that, the energy audit. I got last couple of houses. I got $3,000-4,000 back from the energy audit, and he just comes in and goes, "Yeah, man, it's totally worth it," and he kind of picks apart what we can do with our budget, and I mean, it's nice to get some money back, right?
For sure, yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my full-time gig. Do energy audits for all different utility companies. So Union Gas, Enbridge, which are basically the same thing now, of course. Yeah. But Hydro One, doing audits for them as well. So yeah, you can always reach out, and I can let you know what you're eligible for. And, we've done a few for yours, and there's still rebates.
I really
available,
appreciate the help too, man. It's awesome. Like just knowing the window requirements are just little things to know. Even like the access to the furnace, the door has to be a certain size, and depending on the layout, and like there's just so many little things that we don't think of. Like I've been doing construction for 14 years, and I mean you learn something new every day, especially with other real estate investors. It actually helps with the process because the proper planning, as you know, the more planning you do, the better, because it can cost you a lot in the end.
For sure, yeah. And after going through the hoops, like I do all my own, done all my own drawings for my conversions and stuff, so you learn all those little requirements and stuff.
Do you use a program for that, or?
Yeah. There's a few different programs you can use. I did a couple of them by hand, and then there's a number of programs that you can get online to do them. So yeah, you just need you need a to scale drawing, but then you also have to, if you're doing your own permit application, you also have to go through and show how you're complying with building code too.
Yeah, you have to break it out. Because I was doing, they want scope of work. What am I doing? How am I? Like they want like really down to the nitty gritty.
For sure.
So that's where it's dealing with experienced people that know what they're doing is.
For sure.
You pay for what you get. That's what I say.
Yeah, $1,000 an hour.
That's it. But this is gonna be an interesting project, man. It's gonna dig it down a foot and.
Yeah, it's like secondary suites. Like anytime you're adding a unit, like any way you can do it. Obviously, secondary suites make it a lot easier, but it's a really good way to add a lot of value to a property, right?
So like, I guess depends on the project, because I'm thinking this would probably add like 60,000. Depends.
It's hard to say. I mean, it's all typically going to be based on the rent that you can get, but easily for sure.
60,000. Like for me though, so the rent upstairs is rented, and I'm living down here for free technically, or lower than I normally would.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, you can turn what was a single family rental into a duplex, right?
Yeah.
So your rent is going to
almost just gonna be would you base this a granny suite afterwards?
If you
sell
want to do it,
right?
yeah. I mean, then it's a legal unit, right? So it's basically, with the secondary suites thing, basically a legal unit is a legal unit. So duplex versus secondary suite, it really only matters for zoning. When you go to sell a property, 2 legal units is 2 legal units, right? So appraisers look at it the exact same way.
Really?
Yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, anything else to add there, Phil?
Nope.
That's pretty
Good
much
to
it,
go.
eh? Keep at the hard work, guys. Happy Monday. This is Monday. What's up?
Happy Monday. Super Bowl Monday?
Go
Hangover day?
49ers.